In this section, we're going to look at multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. Now, in the problem that I've written down, or the example I have written down, we have the monomial 5a squared, and I'm multiplying it by the trinomial negative 4a squared plus 2a minus 7. And we'll use the distributive property. Remember, when we multiply by a monomial, we multiply the coefficients together. And if the bases are the same on the variables, we add the exponents. So first of all, I'm just going to use the distributive property. We'll have 5a squared times negative 4a squared, just writing it out long ways first, plus 5a squared times 2a, plus 5a squared times a negative 7. Then we simplify. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. A squared times a squared, remember we add the exponents. 5 times 2 is 10. A, 2 plus 1 is 3. If there is not an exponent, 1's understood. And then we have 5 times negative 7, so we have negative 35 a squared. And since we have no exponents the same, we are simplified as much as we can simplify this problem. So let's look at another one just to get some practice. Negative 6d cubed times 3d to the fourth, make that look like a d, minus 2d cubed minus d plus 9. All right, so again, we're going to use the distributive property. We'll have negative 6d cubed times 3d to the fourth plus negative 6d cubed times negative 2d cubed plus negative 6d cubed times negative d plus negative 6d cubed times 9. And when we simplify, we get negative 18 d to the 3 plus 4 is 7. Negative 6 times negative 2 is a positive 12 d to the 6th. 3 plus 3 is 6. Negative 6 times negative 1, there's a 1 in front of that d, a negative 1, so we get plus 6d to the 4th minus 6 times 9 is 54 d cubed, and we have simplified that as much as we can. Now, I will say here, if you wanted to leave this negative, then you'd have your negative 60 and this would become a plus. You could leave this as a negative and then that would be a plus. It's your choice there. Okay, I want you to take about a minute and work out this problem. 6y times 4y squared minus 9y minus 7. Do that real quickly on a piece of paper and then we'll check it so you can make sure that you are understanding what you need to be doing. Notice we have 6y times 4y squared, and I'm going to skip that second step that we did before, but 6y times 4y squared will give us 24y cubed. 6y times negative 9y will give us minus 54y squared, and 6y times negative 7 gives us negative 42y. And if you got that when you worked it on your own, You may skip that second step that we did on the first two problems because you're simply using the distributive property. Now this problem is a little bit longer, a little bit more involved, but we're simply going to simplify. We'll just have to use a distributive property 2 times. Notice I will have 3 times 5x squared, which gives us 15x squared. That's nothing new that you've not done before. 3 times 2x gives us plus 6x. And 3 times negative 4 is a minus 12. And then we have a negative x times 7x squared, which gives us a negative 7x to the third. A negative x times 2x gives us a negative 2x squared. And a negative x times a negative 3 gives me a plus 3x. Now we simplify by adding like terms, and if we put it in standard form, the negative 7x cubed comes first because standard form goes from highest to lowest exponent. So we've taken care of this one. We'll just keep it in white. We've got that one taken care of. 15x squared minus 2x squared is 13x, if you want to kind of cross them out as you use them so you don't skip something. 6x plus 3x is 9x minus 12. And we have that one simplified. Okay, let's do another one, just to be sure that you can see what we're doing here. 15y, I'll do 15t. 15t times 10y cubed t to the fifth plus 5y squared t minus 2y times yt squared plus 4y squared. Few more variables involved here. So again, we simply use the distributive property. 15t times 10y cubed t to the fifth. 15 times 10 is 150. Y cubed t to the 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 15 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5 and 2 is 7. Y squared t, 1 plus 1 is 2. Minus 2y times yt squared, so we're distributing the negative 2y, so we get negative 2y squared t squared. Negative 2y times 4y squared gives us negative 8y cubed. So here we'll have 150 y cubed t to the sixth. The degree of that monomial is 9, remember. Leading coefficient is 150. 75y squared t squared, I can combine these two and we get plus 73y squared t squared. So those two are used. Minus 8y cubed, and we have simplified that problem completely. Okay, I have one more here. I'm going to give you a minute to work this out, and then we'll check, and hopefully you'll get the correct solution when you distribute and simplify. So take about a minute and work that out on your own paper, and then we'll check it. All right, let's check this. 3 times 2t squared is 6t squared. 3 times negative 4t is a negative 12t. And 3 times negative 15 would give me a minus 45. Plus 6t times 5t is 30t squared. And 6t times 2 is 12t. If we combine like terms, those two can be combined, 36t squared. Negative 12t plus 12t cancels each other out, minus 45. So hopefully that is what you got when you work this out on your own. Okay, notice what we looked at before were just simply polynomial expressions, but now we're going to actually solve an equation. This is an equation because we have the equal sign, but we do the same thing on each side that we've just been doing on the previous screens. So first of all, we're going to simplify the left side, and then we'll simplify the right side and solve the equation. So we have 2x times x, which is 2x squared, plus 2x times 4, which is 8x, plus 7, equals, there's a 1 in front of this parenthesis, so 1 times x plus 8 is just x plus 8. 2x times x is 2x squared. And 2x times 1 is 2x plus 12. So let's see, we can't simplify anything on this side. But here we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 18. Now notice, if I subtract 2x from both sides, if I subtract 2x squared from both sides, it goes away. So basically, if you've got the same thing on each side of an equation, they just cancel each other out. You don't really even, you can just cross them out. You don't even have to show that step, because subtracting the same thing from both sides, if it's 2x squared on both sides and you subtract 2x squared, it goes away. So now I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and we get 5x plus 7 equals 18. Subtract 7 from both sides, and 5x equals 18 minus 7 is 11. And if we divide both sides by 5, x equals 11/5. And I would prefer that you keep it as an improper fraction. I hope some of you caught what I did here. I have to go back and correct myself. 8 plus 12 is 20. So if I subtract 7 from 20, I get 13/5. So x equals 13/5. And if you caught that, yay for you. I simply did not add those two correctly. Okay, let's look at another equation. That means we're going to get d equals something. So first, of course, we're going to work on the left side, and then we'll simplify the right side. So d times d is d squared, plus 3 times d is 3d. Negative d times d is minus d squared, and negative d times negative 4 is plus 4d, equals 9d minus 16. So these cancel. And 3d plus 4d is 7d, equals 9d minus 16. If I subtract 9d from both sides, 7d minus 9d is a negative 2d, equals negative 16. Divide both sides by negative 2, and d equals 8. Okay, here's another equation. I want you on your paper to solve this equation, and then we will check it. So I'm going to give you about a minute, see what you can do to solve this equation. Don't forget to use the distributive property where you need to use the distributive property. Okay, I hope you got b equals 1/2. Let's go through, if you did not, let's see where you might have missed it. Use the distributive property, 12b plus b times b is b squared minus 7. And this is let me erase this and make it straighter, so it doesn't look like a parenthesis, equals 2b, b times negative 4 is minus 4b, plus b squared. Now remember what we said, if we have the same thing on both sides of the equal sign, they cancel each other out, because if I subtracted b squared from b squared from both sides, it would go away. So we have 12b minus 7 equals negative 2b. If I subtract 12b from both sides, we get negative 7 equals negative 14b. Divide both sides by negative 14. Remember, a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. We always simplify our fractions. 7 goes into both of those, the numerator and the denominator. Goes into the numerator once, the denominator twice, and we get b equals 1/2. All right, that is all of the information, the new information for this section. Your assignment is assignment number 8. And it's on page 474. I want you to do 4 to 36 even, and you may omit number 30. All right, get busy.